Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's Outlier Live. On today's episode, we cover the biggest news stories of the day. Our top story of the day is get ready to pay even more for your latest new car. Our second story of the day is Elon Musk rips apart the UAW auto strike, and ain't nobody happy about what he's saying. And finally, Target is giving a taste of its own medicine with a huge woke backfire. All that on today's Outlier Live. And our top story of the day is get ready to pay even more for your latest new car. Listen, the UAW auto strike has good intentions, I guess to say, for that, but it's going to end up costing you and me and everybody else in the long run if they want to buy an American car. Now listen, my name is Christopher Yule and we cover the biggest headlines of the day and what the AI trading data says about them. And if you're interested in that too, be sure to definitely hit the subscribe button down below and get ready to start trading with AI today. Head to ovtlyr.com to see why outliers win. Now, Detroit auto giants reel as UAW strikes bite hard. I mean, going through this article, I was reading it and I saw something that was crazy. They're basically about to lose 250, let me rephrase that. They're basically about to lose $250 million of lost profit per day. The big three automakers are going to lose $250 million of profit per day that the UAW strike goes on and shuts down all of their production. That is huge. I can't believe it. But it is going to eventually make all of our cars cost more, because what they're saying here is that the Detroit automakers' unionized labor costs are about $66 an hour, right? They're starting right now at about $66 an hour. That compares to $45 at Tesla and $55 for Asian auto workers. And that includes the wages and benefits. This is all rolled in, right? This is not like the average hourly wage. But if they hit the demands that the UAW workers have set out, we're looking at $136 an hour. $136 an hour. So you're telling me that the cost for the labor to produce my car more than doubled from $66 an hour to $136 an hour? Good gravy. I mean, it makes total sense as to why cars are about to start costing so much more. And think about it this way, right? Going back in the pandemic, we saw some of the absolute worst dealer markups, the worst greedy, ugly, nasty dealer tactics out there. I mean, we're talking about used car prices. At least this is what I saw. I was shopping for a Tesla at the time, and the used prices for Teslas were actually higher than a new price for a Tesla. But it was because you could get a used car right away. And so, of course, they added a premium onto that. But it wasn't just the Teslas out there, right? I found a couple examples, and it was just egregious, right? This one right here was a 2021 Mustang Shelby GT500. Already cost $100,000, $96,990. And then they threw a $25,000 market adjustment on top of that. So we're looking at $121,000 for a Mustang. $121,000. Right? A 25% dealer markup. And I'm sure that there are huge markups even higher than that. And this is what we're going to be looking for. This is what we're going to be looking at the regular price once the UAW workers get their demands. And listen, I don't like where this is headed. In fact, I was talking to my dad, and he bought his truck in 2019. It's a GMC 1500. He went to the state fair, and he saw the trick tailgate where it folds down in two different places. And he's like, I have to have that truck, right? He hadn't bought a new truck in, I don't know, 6-8 years at that point. So he's like, I got to go get this truck. And that truck, when he bought it, was $43,000. And that was actually expensive at the time. In 2019, $43,000 was pretty expensive for that truck. And now looking at that exact same truck today, $64,000. That exact same truck today, I went and priced it to show you, $64,000. So it's nearly 50% higher to buy the exact same truck as it was 4 years ago. This is unsustainable. But then on top of that, we want to double our labor costs. Yeah. Whatever you're paying for a car right now is about to be the best price you've ever paid because it's about to get a hell of a lot more expensive. And looking at the AI trading data for GM, you can actually see we got a sell signal on September 25th. So just a couple days ago. That tells me right there that we have not even begun to see how bad the workers are actually going to be holding the companies hostage, because the AI trading data is showing us right here that it's about to get a hell of a lot worse. So if you want to get access to this data, go to ovtlyr.com to see what outliers win. Now let's go see what the comments are saying about this, right? Detroit automakers are going up from $66 an hour up to $136 an hour. Absolutely crazy. And let's see here. Yeah, they're done, right? That includes the benefits with this as well. It's not just the hourly wage there, and you have to include the benefits if you're looking at it. If you're looking at it from a holistic perspective, people are allowed to ask for a fair price. If the company can't do it, then they should close up shop. Well, I guess that means that we're about to have 3 less automakers out there. And I heard something yesterday that the CEO compensation between the CEOs and the lowest paid workers is 300x. So the CEOs of Ford, GM, and Stellantis, which is the Chrysler company there, is looking at 300 times higher than what the UAW workers are making out on the assembly line. So I can understand where they're coming from, but they want to have a 40% price. They want to have a 40% hourly wage increase in addition to a 4-day work week. Listen, this is not sustainable. This is not going to happen, but it's definitely a negotiation tactic, right? Maybe they'll be happy with a 10% increase, and maybe instead of working 50 hours a week, they can go back to 40. Maybe that's the ultimate end goal. But right now, a 40% increase, a 32-hour work week, and the fact that prices are the labor cost is set to more than double. Yeah, this is not sustainable for the auto industry. Elon Musk is completely ripping apart the UAW auto strike. He basically is saying, you guys get ready to go bankrupt, and I'm about to take all of your business. Hey, if you're just tuning in, my name is Christopher Yule, and we cover the biggest headlines of the day and what the AI trading data says about them. And if you're interested in that too, be sure to definitely hit the subscribe button down below. And start trading with AI today. Go to ovtlyr.com to see why outliers win. Now, Elon Musk says the UAW strike demands will drive America's big 3 automakers into bankruptcy. And I understand why, right? We just talked about this on yesterday's video, that they're going from $66 an hour to $136 an hour, all in labor costs for these employees. Nobody's going to be able to handle that, right? They want a 40% pay raise and a 32-hour work week. Well, that's a sure way to drive GM, Ford, and Chrysler bankrupt in the fast lane. Right, that's his words right there, coming from his Twitter account. The UAW workers demand higher wages, cost of living adjustments, and a 32-hour work week, and that represents 150,000 workers. And this is saying it'll cost between $100 and $125 million in revenue per week. But once that fully shuts down all of their all of their labor line, all of their, what am I trying to say? Once that fully shuts down all of their assembly lines, that's the word. Once it fully shuts down all of their assembly lines, we're looking at $250 million a day, or what the reports that I've seen. $250 million a day that GM and Ford and Stellantis are going to lose because of this strike. Elon strongly objects to any prospect of unionization at Tesla. It's a hard word to say. In February, the company fired dozens of employees at its plant in Buffalo, where it says a National Labor Relations Board claims it was in retaliation for union activity and to discourage the unions from even starting to form. And the UAW is concerned about the electric cars, which have fewer parts and need fewer workers to assemble, leading to bigger job losses in the industry. And it makes sense, right? Now, when I decided to buy a Model Y, I was so excited about it, right? I was looking for a Model Y Performance in gray with black interior, and I didn't need the extra autopilot and anything, right? And I remember daily going through and pricing it out. I had so much fun, right? Every week or so pricing it out. But then there was this huge announcement that Tesla was having price cuts. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I mean, I'm not ready to buy my car just yet, but I can't wait to be paying less for it. I mean, we're talking like $15,000 price cuts. And then I used to drive a Mini Cooper. And one day I went out into my garage, and literally the garage was flooded with all the fluids from my Mini Cooper, right? I loved that car. It was so much fun to drive. But there was a point in time where the higher powers were like, Chris, it's time for you to buy a new car. And I kid you not, between the time that my car blew up and the time that I ordered my Tesla, they had actually had a second price decrease. So I bought my Model Y Performance for the lowest price there ever was ever. And in fact, it's actually gone up a little bit since then. And that really shows me that Elon has pricing power in the industry that nobody can match. Nobody can touch Elon. Nobody can touch Tesla. And these UAW workers who are trying their very best to make everything cost more on the American automakers, they are screwing themselves over. They are. When Tesla costs less to manufacture, has incredibly more pricing power, when Tesla needs less workers and less equipment and less parts, like there's no chance that these auto workers, what they're doing to increase the price of all of the Ford and Stellantis cars, it's going to backfire in their faces. There's going to be huge job cuts. There's going to be huge just demand destruction. There's going to be huge demand destruction for all of these American auto manufacturers because nobody's going to want to buy them when they can get a Tesla for half the price that is so much easier to buy. Oh my gosh, buying it was so easy. It was just like buying something from Amazon. Click a couple buttons, everything's included except autopilot already. And so there's not 100 different options you have to go through. It's just click, 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 and send, right? You may have to wait a couple weeks or a couple months to get it, but the process was so much easier than going into a dealer. The legacy auto industry is ripe for disruption, and they are shooting themselves in the foot by having these labor relation negotiations go on. They're going to be losing $250 million a day. Their cars are going to cost more. Nobody's going to be buying these things, and everybody's going to be flooding over to Tesla. And that's why Elon is so excited about it. They want a 40% pay raise and a 32-hour work week. Yeah, that's a great way to see those big three automakers go bankrupt. And one other thing too is that, like, on the maintenance front, right? Usually when you get a car, you've got to change your oil every 3,000, 5,000 miles or whatever, right? I had a service call. The service call was it was the best thing ever. I used the app and said, hey, my passenger side front window isn't rolling up all the way. Sometimes it feels like there's an obstacle in the way. And so the tech came out. He came to my house. The tech drove to my house in a Tesla. He got into the computer of the car. He saw all these error codes from when it was happening. So he didn't have to replicate it on site. He could see every code when it happened. And he's like, no big deal. He goes out, puts in a new window regulator, right? The new part that rolls it up and down. And then he was on his way. And that was it. And the experience was amazing. And I asked him, I said, okay, what kind of maintenance am I going to have to do? Because nobody's actually told me all the maintenance that I have to do for this. And he said, you don't have to do anything. You literally don't have to do any maintenance at all. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, listen, you don't have to change any fluids. You don't even have to rotate your tires. You don't have to do anything with this. It literally doesn't need any maintenance. And the tires, you don't have to rotate on my car, at least because the front wheels are narrower than the back wheels. And because of that, he's like, you can't rotate them anyway. So you don't have to do any maintenance whatsoever. Blew my mind. So as a Tesla owner, I can say, I'm not going back. There's no reason to go back. At some point, they're going to get the charging infrastructure to where it's at every single gas station, and electric cars are going to take over the world. It's just a fact. It's just a matter of time. All the government regulations, they want that to happen because it has less pollution, right? And it stimulates the economy to buy these new cars. But nobody is wanting to pay more for those existing legacy auto manufacturers with their old school dinosaur cars. My wife drives a Lexus, and when I get into it, I tell her all the time, I'm like, this thing is slow. This thing is just old. It just feels old. It's a beautiful Lexus and it works great, but it's like driving a dinosaur. The whole auto industry has been upended by Elon and what he's doing. And the UAW auto workers are destroying themselves from within. So let's go see what the AI trading data says about Tesla. We got a sell signal back on September 14th. So if you were already in Tesla, it definitely was a time to be taking profits because right now this market correction is hitting everybody out there. Now, if you want to get access to these data, in fact, this has a 265% return using these signals. If you want to get access to this data, go to ovtlyr.com to see why outliers win. Now, let's go look at what people are saying about this, right? That's what they get for inflating the prices of the fuel vehicles in a lame attempt to make EVs look more appealing. Well, I guess if you're pricing up your trucks 50%, trying to make your EVs look appealing, that's one way to do it, I suppose. And the worst part is that was an attempt to drive people away from Tesla. It did not work, right? Let's see what it says here. Usually when you earn a significant raise, it's because of your skills and hard work. And the UAW is asking to earn more and work less. Listen, that is exactly why Elon Musk is saying, yeah, that's a surefire way to drive them into bankruptcy. Target. Oh man, Target, you have done messed up bad. Target is about to have a huge woke backfire for everything that they've done over the last few years is all about to come and bite them right in the rear. Hey, if you're just tuning in, my name is Christopher. You'll uncover the biggest headlines of the day and what the AI trading data says about them. And if you're interested in that too, be sure to definitely hit the subscribe button down below and start trading with AI today. Go to ovtlyr.com to see why outliers win. Now, Target says it will close 9 stores in major cities, citing violence and theft. Now, it's not just the violence and the theft, right? There are so many parents and families out there who said, I am done with Target months ago. And then on top of that, you have violence and theft inside of their stores. Target can't even keep the doors open. Every single thing they do is a huge blunder, right? Let's take a look and let's go down a trip down memory lane. Do you remember when Target was selling this? Satan respects pronouns. From this, I'm not going to say he's a man. He could be non-binary for all I know. From this person. Satan respects pronouns. Yeah, listen, I don't know about you, but that was a very, very, very quick way to get me to stop shopping at Target. In fact, when it went back to the Pride merchandise, when this news came out, there was a huge amount of people who were like, oh, I'm not shopping there anymore. And I remember specifically, my wife loves shopping at Target, and I remember seeing Target's Pride display front and center, big as could be. Hey, we love Pride. By all means, you love Pride as much as you want. But a week later, she went back to see these pins, right? She went back to see what was going on there. The Pride had been shoved in the back. They were no longer prideful about their pride. It was not the same place that it was a week earlier because I think they jumped the shark. I think Target went way too far in their woke ideology. And because of that, it really has backfired upon them. Now they're having to close stores because of violence and theft. So let's take a look at this, right? Target says it'll close 9 stores across the country, struggling with crime and safety threats. A lot of it has to do with organized retail crime at its stores. It's closing stores in New York, Seattle, San Francisco, and Portland. And this really goes deeper than just the woke stuff at Target. It has a lot to do with the fact that the whole area where they're having to close these stores, it's a huge problem there, right? These areas in particular are run by, let's just say it, Democratic people, Democratic mayors, Democratic governors who are easy on crime. Because they're easy on crime, you get more crime. It's plain and simple as that. And Target is really the person or the company that's suffering because of it. We can't continue these operations in these stores because theft and organized retail crime are threatening the safety of our team and guests, contributing to an unsustainable business performance. You reap what you sow here, Target, right? We know that our stores serve an important role to our communities, but we can only be successful if the shopping and working environment is safe. Target stands apart from its decision to both shutter stores and explicitly blame crime, right? He added that shrink overall, which is how much they account for the retail theft losses, is expected to reduce Target's full year profitability by $500 million. The people in these areas stole $500 million of merchandise. And Target's like, what are we going to do? We can't get the families here anymore because we went too woke. We can't keep anything on the shelves because it's getting stolen before we have a chance to sell it. We're done. Target as a company, we're out of here, right? The retail executives' comments led other companies to speak out on the problem too, to advocate for legislative reform. So wait a minute, you're saying that you went to these Democratic cities and Democratic states who were easy on crime, who were your target customers at one point, and now you're saying, hey, we got problems here. We are way too easy on crime. And now we can't even operate a business here? What did you expect? You voted for this. You voted for this. And because of that, you have to deal with the situation. And the way Target's dealing with it is like, we're out, we're bouncing, we're heading out of here. We're trying to go where we can at least make some money instead of losing $500 million. Target's business has struggled for more than a year with company-specific challenges, including a glut of unsold inventory, backlash to its Pride collection, and a pullback in consumer spending. Yeah, Target said Thursday it's taken a variety of steps to stop crime. It includes adding locked cases for some merchandise, hiring third-party security guards, training store leaders how to de-escalate potentially dangerous situations. Come on here, really? I saw a video where somebody was walking down the aisle of Target and literally every aisle was just locked off. You can't operate a business when your customers can't get to the merchandise, right? And they're having to train their staff how to de-escalate the situation. Listen, I'm not going to go work at somewhere where I have to learn to de-escalate the situation. I'm not putting my life on the line to stop somebody from stealing some t-shirts. No, thank you. I don't blame them. Target's screwed. Target as a company has shot itself in the foot thanks to its woke ideology, and now they're having to pay the price. Let's go take a look at what the AI trading data says about it. In fact, there's a sell signal back on August 3rd. Now, these signals have generated a 193.54% return historically. A sell signal on August 3rd, and it's just been going down ever since then. Target as a company, totally hosed. Let's go see what the comments are saying about this. Target will close more than 9 stores in New York, Seattle, San Francisco, and Portland. Is this Bidenomics at its finest? Yeah, I think so. This person says he's not surprised. Now, I wonder what those cities have in common. And we all know it's the Democratic mayors and governors. And look at this, right? In their own annual reports, you can see how much operating income has gone down, net earnings have gone down, earnings per share has gone down. They are totally hosed. They're totally screwing themselves in the foot. And this person, again, I wonder what these cities have in common. So Target shutting down stores in the woke capitals because of behavior encouraged by the woke virtue signaling. I find this deeply ironic, and I do too. And that's exactly why Target is totally hosed as a company. Hey, if you liked this video, let YouTube know by hitting the like button down below. We would love to be sure to share this message out for everyone out in the community out there so they can learn more about what's going on. And if you like this video, YouTube thinks you're going to love one of these two. Thanks for tuning in to today's Outlier Live, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning into today's Outlier Live, and we'll see you on the next episode.